So, welcome to the TBH Mastermind podcast, where we talk about business and business owners from all over the UK. Today, we've got an unusual situation. We have Rachel Dilley, who not only owns a dentistry practice, she isn't actually a dentist. So, Rachel, introduce yourself, please.
Thank you so much for inviting me today, Paul. My name's Rachel Dilley, as you said, and I am a dental nurse practice owner. I am CEO of Liberty Dental Group, which is my own business, and enjoying every minute of it.
Wow. So, dental nurse and owner of a dental surgery. How did we end up doing that?
It's been a 35-year journey. I started dental nursing at the age of 17. It was dentistry was so different then. Is the family dentist I'd seen from being a little toddler, and mum made sure that I went every year. And one
So,
year I went and went for a dental checkup and came out with a job that I didn't want, but I was respectful to mum and spent a week there and never looked back.
wow. Had you got any other plans for yourself?
I wanted to be a paediatric nurse. I've always wanted to look after other people and give back
Hmm.
to other people. That was the plan. I was due to go to nursing university, which mum didn't like because she didn't want me to go away. We were a very close family and got a job as a dental nurse. I said, I'll give it a week, mum. And yeah, I loved every minute and continued. I've always been really career driven in what I want to achieve. So I kept giving myself new goalposts, and I spent 35 years in dentistry, and yeah, still a lot more in me yet, Paul.
That's a real inspiration because I don't know, dental nurses they tend to remain dental nurses, don't they? What gave you the confidence to eventually take that leap?
Dental nursing profession is changing. A lot of nurses now, they feel undermined as some of them aren't happy in the work,
Hmm.
and every dental nurse deserves to feel wanted, and they work really hard. We all work really
We
hard,
do.
but a lot of dental
Mm.
nurses are now very much more career minded, and they might study to be a dental therapist or a dental hygienist or go into teaching. For me, I always wanted to work in the business side, the administration side of the business, so kept my dental nursing certificate, kept doing the dental nursing, but then also studied business management. And since
Hmm.
then, that's allowed me to have more senior roles right up until 2022. It's always been a dream of mine to own my own dental practice, but I'm a Halifax girl, and I didn't think that I'd be able to afford to do it. But spoke to a business investor, and after an hour's talking to him, offered me some money for shares to get going, and here we are 3 years later.
So is it unusual for some? I'm not saying just a dental nurse, but someone who's come just from that background to end up as the CEO of their own dentistry?
It is, yeah, it is. There's not many dental nurses that own their own practice without the
Hmm.
support of a husband being a dentist. But for me, it didn't scare me because I'm so positive and knowledgeable about what I want to achieve and put those things in practice. And if I don't know the answer, I'll go find the answer. But I think my skills that I've developed over the years with leadership and empathy have allowed me to really flourish in the role as practice provider and practice owner.
I have to agree, Rich. Our paths have crossed various times. We both worked in the most amazing town, Brighouse, for
Yes,
many
which
years,
is still just up
and
the road from where I live.
I was down there not an hour ago. And but wherever or however we've crossed networking, or we did some work with Martin Haig just above your place back
Yes.
in the day. You always bring a little bit of extra. You're organised. You always bring the enthusiasm, and people always warm to you. I remember you'd got a there was a young girl there who was struggling with the whole what we were doing, and you were a massive comfort to her, and you obviously guided her on her career as well. So I think you're in the perfect place now to lead your team.
Thank you so much. They call me Mama Bear at work, so I have a little nickname, and I'm currently mentoring another apprentice at the practice, and yeah, she's doing fantastic. And I think that's what people want. They want the flexibility. I offer flexible working within the practice. They want that
Hmm.
empathy. They want that wellness. And at the end of the day, it's really sweet, simple is that if you give your staff a really nice place to work and you feel appreciated, then your business is going to do well. So, we need to make sure that we look after our employees in a really good and kind way.
Hmm. I mean, what business of dentistry is it like every other business? Is there what are the biggest challenges?
I think dentistry itself is a very caring profession. It's also a profession where the compliance is huge. So the
Mm,
pressure that you have as dentists have a lot of pressure, and they've got a massive skill, and the compliance is huge within the dental practice. So we all
mm,
need to make sure that we're compliant. And then there's lots of new dental practice that are starting going down the private element due to the NHS contract not being really worth the paper it's written on. So dentistry is definitely evolving, but we've got to make sure that we're looking after these patients that can't afford private dentistry. I own my own dental practice, and we don't have an NHS contract because there is no NHS funding for new practices due to the
mhm,
contract at the moment. So
mhm.
I offer affordable dentistry, and then I've also set up the community element, so our dental charity, Dental Educare, to still help those people that can't afford dentistry.
Say that name again. What was it called?
So it's called Dental Educare, and
Okay.
this is the community charitable arm of the practice that I've set up. I've been working on it
Mhm,
for 2 years because running a community group is hard, but we started in January, and each year we're doing different projects to help different vulnerable people. So this year's project is providing dental treatment and dental hygiene and examinations for pregnant women that can't access NHS dentistry, and then their unborn children will automatically become a private patient of the practice.
mhm.
Because we don't have the NHS facilities, but it's all
Yeah,
paid for by the charity that I run. I'm CEO of.
that's amazing. I know, and I know you through your charity work. Just share some of the. You've got some great experience in charity. Just share one or two of your highlights that you've been involved with, please, Rachel.
Highlights, there's so many. I think the main highlights are the people that you meet, and you meet people, especially working with the homeless at a most vulnerable time in their life,
Hmm.
and it's getting to know that person through. I've worked with people through drug and alcohol addiction, um, domestic violence. And it's about offering that shoulder to cry on. It's about that reassurance and knowing that somebody's there that actually cares. Because
Hmm.
when you're in a vulnerable situation, there is a lot of doors that get shut. So it's just to keep banging on those doors to open them up. And in my role now, obviously in dentistry, there's so many children that can't access a dentist. So for me, it's being able to open that accessibility for children because I believe
Hmm.
that every child in the UK should have a dentist, and that isn't the case, and we need to work hard on that. Sadly, our government, they are making some steps, they're very small steps, but we as a group and our team feel really favourable in supporting our local community with oral health education and providing that dental treatment for children under 5 that don't have a dentist.
So if you could get Keir Starmer around a table, what would you tell him to do? What would transform dentistry for children and for people who can't get a dentist under the NHS? What would you do?
The main thing is that we need a new dental contract, and he needs to roll his sleeves up and pull his socks up and actually crack on with it. Because while there's no dental contract, practices like mine can access dentistry. We can provide NHS treatment. My practice can withstand taking on 1,000 new patients, but
Hmm.
I can't because I've got no NHS funding. So I try to
Hmm.
do what I can by offering affordable payment plans and by Dental Educare, because I am aware, and I'm from Calderdale. I spent all my life in Halifax, and for me to be able to give back to the community is one of the greatest gifts that I can give to it, and that's my ethos.
So what's the stall with the contracts? What's the problem? Is it money?
Yeah, it's money. So the contract that we have at the moment is in units of dental activity, and there is just not enough money in there to be able to help the patients. And what we've got to
Hmm.
think of as well is we're not just checking the teeth, we're checking soft tissues, we're looking out for dental cancers,
Hmm.
oral cancers, and those are rising, especially in COVID times because people couldn't access
Hmm.
dentistry during that time. So we really need to, the government really need to be making headways. This is 20 years in the making. There's no band-aid that's going to fix this now. We really need that contract reform to be able to make a difference to the people within the UK.
Is it getting closer, or is it
Small
as far away as
small
ever?
steps. There's no contracts at the moment, and we've been trying for a new contract for at least the last 5 or 6 years. So the
Okay.
government are putting small amounts of money into rural areas, but that money, will only cover maybe 10 or 20 patients. We've got thousands of people that are waiting for
Mm.
NHS practices. To be able to, take them on, especially the vulnerable that, are on benefit, it's harder for them to be able to get a dentist. And children that are born in the UK, they need to have a dentist, and they're entitled to it. Children are entitled
Mhm.
to an NHS dentist.
Mhm. So running this business, you're 3 years in. Um, what's your biggest learnings that you've taken from actually being at the very sharp end of running your own business, not necessarily a dentistry business, but running a business?
Oh, you've got to be so organised, and you've got to be
Organized.
passionate, and you've got to live and breathe it. Definitely for the first few years, that's what
Mhm.
I found,
Mhm.
and learn from it. Don't give yourself such a hard time because you are going to have stumbling blocks, and it doesn't matter how organised you are, you will still have those stumbling blocks because we're only human, and things happen. And I think that's
Mhm.
been one of the biggest learning curves for me is don't be too hard on yourself, Rachel. These things happen, but then look at I'm a problem solver. So I've
You
always
are.
got plan A, B, or C. And I'm really calm in difficult situations or challenging situations. And I'll be like, right, we can't change the past, but we can work on the present. How can we overcome these things? And I think that's one of the biggest learning curves that I've learned.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Talk to me about your future in the business. How do you see your business growing from there?
So plans for the business is two more practices, which
Wow.
will start from scratch again because I've done it
Mhm.
once and I've learned what not to do, but I've also learned what to do. So I started off with a team of three, and I've now got a team of 16, and I've got a
Gosh.
waiting list of clinicians and dental nurses
Oh.
wanting to join the
Mhm.
business.
Mhm.
So many that it's enabled me to actually be in a position where I can open another practice. So I'd like to have definitely another practice next year, and then get charity status for Dental Educare, which is a community group at the moment. So those are the
Mhm.
two main things in my career that I want to do, and oversee, maybe reduce the time working in the business and working on the business. And then from a personal element, I'm getting married next year. So
Oh
I'm
wow.
looking forward
Congra-
to getting married to my fiance Kevin, who is yeah, fantastic and a great comfort to me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Where are you going to open these two dents? Are we stopping in Calderdale?
A little bit further out of Calderdale, but definitely around the local area.
That's
I
brilliant.
want to go where the need is, but
Hmm.
where's also accessible for my family.
Hmm.
Because what I've learned is that you can't work 24 hours a day and still have the right mindset. So I tend to take a holiday now every 6 weeks, and
Hmm.
it's just a little holiday Monday to Friday. But I find by doing that, it gives me that refresher, gives me time to spend with my children and my grandchildren, and enjoy life as well as owning the business.
It's so true that, Rachel. I speak to many business owners, and yeah, I use this phrase: you can't pour from an empty bottle,
No,
and they empty themselves. And if if working hard made you successful, the majority of business owners I know would be ultra successful because they always work hard. The business owners. So you're right. You're absolutely spot on to take some time off. You've got words of wisdom there for us. Thank you.
thank you. I think as well it is success looks different to everybody. And some
Hmm.
people measure success on what's in the bank. Some people measure success on what is in, what your lifestyle is. I measure success by happiness. So, and I think it's a
Hmm.
good measure to have, and I'm really happy. So yes, all good.
So you talk about holidays. Have you got the honeymoon planned yet?
We haven't got a honeymoon planned as yet. I think it'll probably be somewhere, maybe on the north coast. My partner might have other ideas, but we've travelled so
Oh,
much
no.
this year. I've been really fortunate. I
Yeah.
haven't been well travelled, but it
Hmm.
takes me to all sorts of different places, and we have a strong faith which we're able to share together.
Hmm.
So we will see what he's got planned. I'm doing the wedding.
Hmm.
He can sort the honeymoon out.
I think he's got the easy job there. So Rachel, as this time comes to an end here, a great question I love for people to answer is: has any one person, any book, anybody inspired you in your business life?
I think for me, it's got to be my faith. It's a
Hmm.
great inspiration and a great comfort to me. I've always been determined, and I don't know where that's come from, but the ethos in caring for people is definitely my mother and my parents.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was brought up in a Christian family. We went to church every day, every week, and from the age of 12, I was working, having a little paper round because what was instilled in me was if you want something, you go work for it, Rachel. You can't have it handed on a plate. And you
Hmm.
also give back to others. So, it was Harvey Festival. We used to go and help the elderly. And I think that's something that I've always carried, in me. And I lost my mother a couple of years ago. She was nearly 89, and
Hmm.
as long as she had breath in her body, she wanted to go and help somebody or visit somebody. And I think that's where I've got that ethos in, giving back to other people, and that gives me joy. So I feel very privileged.
Amazing. Yeah, your mum and dad set you up well and truly for life, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely, they did.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of your mum or your dad in yourselves?
Oh, definitely. My dad was a very kind person, but very quiet, very silent. And he used to before he passed away. Sadly, he died of cancer at 67. And the
Hmm.
last thing that he said to me is, "I'm all right now, Rachel. I know where I'm going, but make sure you take care of your mother." And for the last, well, my mum died when she was 89, and
Hmm.
I took her on holiday every year, and she helped support me with the children growing up, and we had a great rapport, right until the end. So, and I can still feel her every day, and these little
Yeah.
things that, as you get older, and you don't really listen to your parents when you're teenagers,
No, no.
but when they've passed, I'm thinking, I'm turning into my mother. And then I thought, you know what? That's not such a bad thing, Rachel.
Yeah, I look in the mirror and I thought, what's my dad doing there this morning? It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
looking back at me.
yeah.
Well, your mama bear created another mama bear, didn't
Oh,
she?
thank you.
So
Yeah, thank
I,
you.
I,
She
I
did.
Rach, you've been a great guest. Please, can I ask you when you either get the charity going further or you open a new dentist? Please, will you come back and speak to us? We'd love to hear about your journey and continue.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Come over and have a look. You're more than welcome to. You
I'll
can,
come to the open day.
yeah,
I've worked with dentists in the past, so I
yeah.
do know
Come to the
in,
open
ins and
day. So it'll be
the ins and
delighted to
outs
have
of it.
you, Paul.
Brilliant. Rachel, as always, you always bring value to whatever we're doing, and you've certainly added to this podcast today. So I thank you and continued success to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Paul. The same to yourself as well.
Thank you.